Hi and welcome to day 2 of Yoga for Beginners. This here is Gaia, one of the members of my family and one of the people I love most in the world. What I love about watching animals is that they're pretty much doing yoga all the time, so we can really learn from them in terms of how embodied they are and with how much articulation and grace they move with their bodies. This is one of the states that we're really trying to get back to with yoga. So today we're going to be focusing on hip openers. It's going to be a full body sequence, but we're going to have quite a few poses that are going to be allowing us to open our hips. What this means is that we're finding positions a bit like this cross-legged position I'm in right now, a bit like Gaia just did actually, where you can open your knees away from each other and create some openness in the hip joint. Create some flexibility and some motion in our hip joints, rather than closed hips where our knees and our feet are facing forwards, like we are when we're sitting in a chair or like we are when we're standing, which for most of us is most of the day. So I hope that you enjoy this sequence. I look forward to seeing you on the mat. Namaste. So before we begin, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart center, to close your eyes, and to take a few deep breaths. Becoming aware of how your body feels right now. Becoming aware of any thoughts going around in your mind. Bringing your awareness to the center of your chest, your heart center. Just feeling into that space. And then letting all of this information go, checking in with if there is an intention for today's practice, if there's a wish or a goal or a dedication that you can place on this class before we begin. Letting this go. We're going to make our way down onto our backs. Have a little fidget, have a little shuffle. Get yourself nice and comfy here. And then what I'm going to invite you to do is to bring the soles of your feet together and your knees apart. So seeing if you can wiggle a little bit more length out of your hips. You can press down on them, finding that stretch through your lower back. And as you inhale, I invite you to place your hands under your legs, bringing your knees back up to center. And as you exhale, I invite you to drop your knees out towards the sides of the room that you're in. So inhaling, slowly knees come up to center. Exhaling, legs drop out to the sides. This time I invite you to bring your arms over your head, coming into a beautiful stretch. Reaching through your fingers, still allowing gravity to just bring your knees a little bit closer down to the ground. And then exhaling, we can bring our hands into center. Lifting our knees and gradually bringing our knees towards us. So from here we're going to come to some circles. Circling our knees around. You're giving your lower back a beautiful massage here. After taking it in one direction a few times, we're going to bring it all the way in the other direction. Breathe in a way that coordinates the movement for you. Coming back to that full breath, that full capacity breath that we spoke about in our first session. Letting this come to stillness, we're now going to bring our knees in opposite directions. So So it's starting to create a bit more warmth through the hip joint. As we cycle our legs, cycle our knees. And taking this in the other direction, knees come towards you first, if you didn't do it that way around initially. From here, letting the knees come hugging in towards your chest for a moment. You can rock from side to side. And then bringing your knees towards your armpits, kicking your heels up to the sky, holding onto the outer edges of your feet. And we find ourselves in happy baby pose. So we're going to allow this to be still today, flexing your feet, allowing the back of your neck to be long. And with your next exhalation, allowing your sacrum, your lower back, to come even closer in contact with the floor. We're going to stay here for another couple of breaths, so keep going. Keep breathing deeply. Exhaling, allowing your knees to come down to the ground, your feet to come down to the ground, sorry. From here you can bring your right ankle to your left knee, pushing your right knee away from your body with the heel of your right hand, and then lifting both legs, hugging your left leg in towards your body to thread the needle pose. So you're drawing the legs towards your torso. Even as you ground through your spine. Allowing your back to melt in towards the mat as you hug your legs in towards your body. Feeling this deep stretch through your lower back and through your glutes. Taking in a deep breath here, taking out a deep breath here as you bring your left foot to the ground, then your right foot to the ground. And switch sides, bringing your left ankle to your right leg, pushing your left knee away from your body with your left hand, and then drawing both your legs towards your body, threading the needle. You might find that your hands aren't able to come to your shin, so you can hold onto the back of your thigh, if that makes it more accessible to you. Your main focus here is on relaxing through your spine, grounding through your back, and breathing using the full capacity of your lungs. And notice how this capacity will change depending on the position that you're in. Exhaling, allowing your feet to come back down to the mat. From here we can roll over onto our side and make our way up to sitting. We're going to again revisit cobbler's pose. We did a reclined version of this and now we're going to do the seated version of this. So we're going to bring a bit of fluff. Our feet together, the soles of our feet together, and allow our knees to drop out towards the sides. From here you can bring your fingers into a kind of cradle, interlaced position, and you can bring them underneath your toes, supporting your feet. And using this, strengthen your arms to lift up through your heart, drawing your shoulders down your spine, your shoulder blades down your spine, and feeling this deep and beautiful stretch through your hips. So drawing your knees a little bit closer down towards the ground. So if you're newer to yoga, you might find that your pose looks more like this. It might be that your hips feel super tight at the moment. Just want to reassure you that's completely normal. With time and with practice of these exercises, your hips will begin to feel more flexible. And this will make a really big difference to the flexibility that you feel during your day. So as you breathe, allowing your knees to drop down a little bit deeper. And then if we want to play with a different variation of this pose, we can bring our elbows in contact with our calves, our inner calves, and actually press the legs down with the arms, curving the spine a little bit in this variation, allowing your chin to drop towards your chest, the back of your neck to be long, inhaling, coming back up to center. From here we can bring our legs wide, so coming into a wide stance. Again, you choose the width. There are no rules. What we want here is for your legs to be wider than hip distance apart, but again, if you're newer to yoga, you might find that your legs don't want to come so wide. So find a position that you feel you're getting a little bit of a stretch, but that it feels okay, that you can stay here for a little while. If you have hyperextended knees, many people do, these are knees that if you're in this kind of position, you'll notice it actually will look like your knees are bending backwards a little bit, almost kind of banana-ing this way, curving down towards the ground. If you have hyperextended knees like this, then it's really important in any of these kind of forward bend positions that you can put a cushion underneath your knees so that it keeps them a little bit bent, which is a healthier alignment for them to be in. You can also bend your knees a little bit when we do standing forward folds. So this is a really great thing to know if you're a beginner, because I notice in classes that I teach, a really high percentage of people have hyperextended knees. So if this is you, incorporate a little bit of a bend into the knees anytime you're doing a forward bend. So with that in mind, I'm going to invite you to lift through your hearts here, sitting up as tall and as straight as you can. And then as you exhale, walking your fingertips forwards. Just walking them forwards. And as they come forwards, coming into a deeper fold. The invitation here is to see if you can bend into this forward bend, but keep your spine long. Keep your spine tall. We spoke in session 1 about mobile phone asana, so this is another great opportunity to really start to build an amazing posture and a healthy spine. It will mean that you're not coming down so low, and that's absolutely fine. Perhaps even close your eyes here. Take a couple of deep breaths. As we exhale, walking your fingers back towards your body, placing your hands under your knees and giving them a little bit of a gentle jiggle. Relaxing them down, and depending on how you feel, we're going to be coming into that again. If that felt very intense, you might want to walk your feet in a little bit, bringing the heels closer together. If that felt really good, stay where you were, and if it felt like you could go even deeper, then feel free to bring your legs even wider. Keep your toes pointing up towards the sky, lift your heart, and then as you exhale, walk those fingertips forwards. You can really flow with the breath here, so with every inhalation, it's an opportunity to lengthen things And not just in this position, in any position. You can use the inhale as an opportunity to reach, and your exhale as an opportunity to deepen. So in this pose, as you inhale, that would mean lifting your spine, keeping your toes pointing up towards the sky. And as you exhale, to hinge a little bit more from your hips, coming deeper into this fold. So when we use our breath like this, it means that our pose is never still. This is perfect. Every pose is actually its own dance, its own flow. So not only are we getting a stretch through our hips, but we're also getting a really deep hamstring stretch here. These kind of forward folds have an immense effect on our nervous system. They're really amazing at helping us to calm down and to ground. As we exhale, bringing our hands back towards our body, coming back upright, bringing our hands under our knees again, gently incorporating a little bit of movement. Bringing our heels in towards the middle, just a little. And trying that one again. Keep on ooching them in and jiggling until your legs are facing back in front of you. From here I'm going to invite you to bend your knees and come up onto all fours, and then pressing our toes under and through our hands, we can make our way back to a very brief downward facing dog. From here we're going to walk our feet slowly forwards towards the front of the mat. Once you're at the front of your mat, bending your knees and reaching up towards the sky as you inhale fully. Exhaling, bringing your hands down towards your heart center. If you had an intention at the beginning of your practice, then I invite you to bring that to your mind again now here. Take one just deep breath in and deep breath out. Seeing if you can cultivate presence with your breath, or a little bit of mindfulness about your intention. We can bring our hands onto our hips once we've done this, opening our eyes, and I invite you to step up and back with your right foot. So we're going to come into Trikonasana, triangle pose. So the coordination here is that the feet are doing quite different things. Your right foot is going to be facing towards the side of the room, and your left foot is going to be facing towards the front of your mat. If you place your hands on your hips here, ideally what we want is that our hips are facing forwards. Our hips are facing right in front of us, and they're both square, so rather than the hips coming around into this kind of position, we're beaming them forwards, we're beaming those headlights forwards. If you're finding this difficult, then you can walk your back leg in a little bit until you're able to maintain your hips forwards. And if this feels okay, you can bring it back until your legs are approximately a meter apart. From here we're going to inhale, bringing our arms up at shoulder height. What you can aim to do here is to draw the shoulders towards the back of the body. You can kind of visualize that you have a pencil balancing between your shoulder blades and you're trying to hold it in place with those two muscles. You're going to reach over the left leg, just reaching over that side. Often this is described as if you were between two panes of glass. So imagining there's one pane of glass up this side of your body, one pane of glass up your back that was just the perfect thickness for you, and that you're reaching between them so that you're not coming into this and you're not coming into this. You're really staying across this horizontal plane. When you can't reach it anymore, bringing your left fingers down towards your leg, you can have the palm facing out so that it really keeps most of the weight out of this bottom hand, and the right hand can come up towards the sky. So this is another beautiful way to open our hips, because one is facing forward and this leg is really having to turn out towards the side. Breathe deep here. Make sure you're not putting any weight on your knee joint. Have your hand above or below your knee. Reach up through your top hand. Your head can either look down towards the ground, straight ahead of you, or up towards the sky. Taking one more deep breath here if you can. And then bending your knee, coming up to standing, allowing your arms to drop, bringing your left foot forwards, bringing your right foot out to the side. Just toe that in a little bit, and finding that beginning position on the other side. So firstly, we make sure that our hips are square, looking straight ahead of us. Then we open our arms up at shoulder height, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, reaching as if we were between two panes of glass. When we can't reach anymore, bringing our right fingers down towards our leg, our left fingers up towards the sky. We can either look down towards the ground, straight ahead, or up to the sky. You're going to need to breathe deep here. This is not an easy pose, but it's an amazing one for beginners to understand, because you get a beautiful stretch through your sideways, as well as a gentle hip opening. One more deep breath here if you can. And then exhaling, bending your knees, coming back up to standing. Bringing both feet to face towards the side of your mat. Inhaling and reaching up towards the sky. Exhaling and folding over to wide-legged forward fold. Allowing your head to be loose. Your neck, you can give a gentle movement, a gentle yes, a gentle no. Taking any tension out of your neck. And then if we like, we can interlace our fingers at the base of our spine, allowing our fingers to drop over our head. Again, drawing those shoulder blades towards each other, keeping them active in this process. Keeping a little bend in your knees here if you have hyperextended knees like we spoke about earlier. One more deep breath and then bring your fingers back down to the base of your spine. And what I'm going to invite you to do is to place the opposite index finger on top. So you're crossing your fingers again, but the other way around, allowing the opposite index finger to come on top. What it tends to be in life is that we have habitual movements. Actually, we have habitual everything. If we go to a cafe, we'll tend to try and sit in the same seat. If we go to the gym, we'll tend to try and find the same locker. So yoga is an invitation for us to change some of our habitual movements. And maybe, if we can change a few habitual movements, we can also start to become more aware of some of our habits in other areas of our lives. And we can keep the ones that serve us and maybe stretch our comfort zone a little bit, broadening our horizons for any of the habits that don't serve us. Allowing your breath to fill the back of your body. Taking in one more inhalation, one more exhalation, and then bending your knees and inhaling back up to standing. You can allow your arms to relax here, just having a little shake for a moment. Then what I'm going to invite you to do here is to bring your heels towards each other, keeping your feet wide. If you've got any knee issues, you might want to substitute this pose for the one that we just did. But if your knees are feeling okay today, then I invite you to come and play with squat, yogic squat. Heel toe, our feet in until our heels are about hip distance apart. From here, we're going to bring our hands to our heart center. And as we exhale, bending our knees and coming, if possible, all the way down into squat. There are a few ways to vary this. You might want to be up on your toes. You might find that easier than coming with your feet down on the ground. You might not want to come anywhere near as deep as this. You might want to stop here, and that's absolutely fine. The key thing, if you're not bringing your weight all the way down, is to keep your weight on top of your legs. But if you're able to come down, then enjoy it. You can press your knees away from your torso with your arms, creating even more openness, even more depth through your hips. Lifting your heart. Again, notice what your breath is doing here. You can bring your hands down onto the ground and help yourself as you make your way back up to standing again. You can continue to heel toe your feet in towards your centre. Walking away up to the front of the mat, we're going to do one more standing pose. Bringing our hands back on our hips, walking our right foot up and back again. This time we're going to come to Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. We're going to bend our front knee until it's stacked on top of our front ankle. We're going to engage through the outer edge of the back foot. Placing our hands on our hips, what we would like is that our hips are facing towards the side of our mat, this direction. If this feels super comfortable, you can walk your foot out. If this feels quite challenging, too challenging, then you can walk your foot back in. So the closer that your right foot is to your left foot, the easier the pose is going to be. Once you've found this comfortable position with your legs and with your hips, I'm going to bring mine in a little bit actually this morning. Then you can inhale your arms up towards the sides of the room and turn to look over your left hand. We're aiming that our arms are the same height here. What we can often find is that the back arm actually is usually down. So seeing if you can lift it until it is about as high as your right arm. You can even check so that your left arm is as high as your right arm. We can bring our right fingertips down towards our right leg, our left hand up to the sky, or even back over, reaching behind us. Lightly resting the right fingers down on the right leg, breathing into the side of your waist, keeping your front knee on top of your front ankle. Inhaling, we come back up to centre. We straighten our left leg, allowing our arms to drop. Bringing left leg forwards, left foot forwards, and bringing right leg out to the side. We can come to do the same on the other side, starting with our hands on our hips, bending our right knee until it's on top of our right ankle, making sure that our hips are able to face forwards. Inhaling, our arms up towards, our hands up at shoulder height. Turning our head to look over our right fingers. Virabhadrasana 2. Pressing down through the outer edge of your back foot. Inhaling, right arm comes up towards the sky or even up behind you. Breathe into your right armpit chest area. Keep thinking about your front knee. Keep its position on top of the ankle to protect your knee joint. Looking up towards the sky if your head will allow, if your neck will allow. One more deep breath. And as you exhale, coming back up, arms to sides, allowing your arms to come down, your knee to straighten. Bringing both feet to face towards the side of your mat. We're going to come back into our forward fold, wide-legged forward fold. This time we can allow our hands to come down to the ground. If you like, you can walk your feet even wider. You can place your hands on blocks. You can keep your hands on your legs, You can even walk your hands back through your legs towards the back of your mat, allowing your head and your neck to relax. Breathing into the back of your body, as well as the front of your body and the sides of your body. Inhaling, bringing your hands back to center. We're going to heel toe our feet back to the middle. And when we're about halfway, then keeping your legs straight, this time we're going to roll up to standing. Starting with the lowest vertebrae of your spine and rolling all the way up. The shoulders and the head are the last things to come up until we're back in our standing stance. Taking a nice deep breath here and just noticing how your body feels after all these poses. From here we're going to make our way down to the mat. So coming to lie down, you do one final hip opener. Bring the soles of your feet together, allowing your knees to drop out towards the sides. Again, pressing down through the tops of your thighs and wiggling a little bit more length out of your waist. As you exhale, placing the backs of your hands on top of your thighs. Watch your breath for a moment. Bring your attention to your inner hips, to the insides of your hip joints. Notice how this stretch is affecting you right now. Breathe into any of the areas that you can feel opening. Placing your hands underneath your legs and supporting your knees as you lift them back up towards the sky. So you have a couple of options here. We can walk our feet out towards the edges of our mat, dropping our knees together, really allowing our lower back to come into contact with the ground here, so it can be a really amazing restorative pose. Or we can lie our legs down upon the mat in full Shavasana. In either variation, bring the palms of your hands to face up towards the sky. This is a gesture of receiving, allowing yourself to receive the prana, the energy from the universe, and to receive the full benefits of the practice that you've done today. All of the muscles in your body that you've just worked, all of the oxygen that you've brought into your tissues, any toxins that you've released, just allowing your body to recognize all of the work that you've done here. So I'm going to invite you to play with a little visualization for our last few minutes on the mat. Closing your eyes, and as you inhale, visualize that you're inhaling a golden light into your body. And that this golden light, as you inhale, starts to fill your body from the tip of your toes all the way up your ankles, up your calves, up your legs, up your torso, up your arms, up your head and up your neck. And as you exhale, you release this golden light, also letting go with it anything that you wish to let go of in your mind, body, spirit, or life. So you're inhaling a healing golden light You can feel well-being and vitality filling you up from the tip of your toes all the way to the top of your head. And as you exhale, releasing everything, letting go of any thoughts, letting go of any judgments, letting go of anything that does not serve you. If your mind wanders, then just bring it back to this practice. Inhaling the light and releasing that same light, and with it any other elements that you'd like to let go of. So I invite you to gradually let go of this visualization, coming back into just witnessing your breath as it is, the sensation of the air moving in and out of your body. And give yourself 3 more breaths in Shavasana, with every exhalation inviting full and total relaxation through every muscle in your body. Releasing everything to the mat beneath you. After your 3rd breath, you might wish to bring a bit of awareness back into your whole body and the space that you're in. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes, maybe increasing this movement to circling your wrists and your ankles, and build up these movements until you stretch in any way that feels good for you. When your stretch is complete, rolling over onto one side and staying here for a moment, calling to your mind 3 things that you feel thankful for. And when you've thought of your 3 things, keeping your eyes closed, making your way up to sitting in a cross-legged position or any other comfortable seated position. Bringing your hands to your heart center. Bringing to mind one last time your intention, if you had one. Taking a deep breath. And you can end this class by chanting Om, if you like, at home. Or just by bringing your attention to your heart center and then gently opening your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me for this class today. Namaste.